Morning people, welcome back to F Politics. So the BBC interviewed me about the English flags that have been going up everywhere.
For some, the flags are an unwelcome reminder of last summer's riots.
People felt scared to leave their homes because they might be attacked purely based on the colour of their skin. And the people that were doing this were carrying the St. George's flag. And so there's an element of, okay, I can see that flag there. I like the flag, but does that mean that a racist was here? And there's that sense of fear that's created by seeing them all around.
And the reaction from the three politicians in the studio is the perfect example of how the three biggest parties in the UK are clearly not the answer to solving racism. First, you had the Labour MP.
Can you understand that, someone might be patriotic but still think it's a bad idea, Al?
I can understand that, but I think we've allowed that to happen. There's almost an element now, and I think in the recent past, where you feel nervous actually flying the flag because someone may consider that you are part of one of those fringe elements. My honest view is drown that out by everyone being patriotic about the flag.
How do we do that?
Fly the flags where you are legally allowed to do so, and don't allow fringe groups to own that flag as a symbol of their politics.
Guys, I don't know what Martin Luther King was thinking. Clearly you can solve racism by just flying the English flag. No, but seriously, first off, practically, that just doesn't work because that's clearly never going to happen because the people that are the most obsessed with national flags are the nationalists, by definition. The rest of us are too busy focusing on the stuff that's actually going to improve the living standards of the people in the nation. So in the long term, we're not going to solve this by simply outflagging the far right. It's going to involve actually challenging the racism of the far right. But did you hear a single word in what that Labour MP just said that implied he was actually going to do anything to tackle racism? No. Apparently just flying flags is enough. Then there's the Conservative MP.
Karen, what about the point that Femi made? I'll ask you this, George, as well, that for some, in the past it has been co-opted, and when we had riots literally last summer where people were using the flags in that way, for some people they see that and it's jarring.
Well, look, we need decent people to fight back. I agree again with Al. This is our flag. We own this flag, and we shouldn't allow it to be co-opted by those who would do us harm and want to divide us. And that's where we all have to come together. I think it is wonderful that you've got three politicians from different parties sitting here and saying that we are united on this issue.
But it doesn't happen often, Karen, I'll be honest.
It's so comforting to hear that you're all on the same page. You, the Labour MP, and the Reform councillor?
Can you understand that there are people, it was used by people taking part in those riots last summer. Can you understand that there are some people who would see it and feel intimidated?
I think it's simple. This is our flag. And the way to stop those feelings being felt and to stop that from happening is by using it ourselves, flying it on county buildings, flying it out in the streets. It becomes normal. I think for too long it has been used by groups, politicised it. What we need to do is put it back into the people's hands. It's our flag, and let's fly it and let's be proud of it. It's straight and simple.
Okay.
Just so we're all on the same page, the problem that we're trying to solve is that many ethnic minority people get worried when we see that flag because it's the same flag that was used by the rioters while they were attacking ethnic minority people last summer. So what we're trying to do is break the link in people's heads between the flag and the rioters last summer. And the solution being offered here is for people like George, people from the Reform Party, to fly that flag. The Reform Party that explicitly backed the rioters last summer. For example, Lee Anderson, the Reform Party's first MP, said that the people that were attacking minorities in the streets weren't far right, they were just fed up. Nigel Farage, the leader of the Reform Party, was just on stage hugging Lucy Connolly after she pled guilty to inciting racial hatred by calling for asylum seekers to be burned alive. The Reform Party is directly implicated in the racism that flag is now associated with because of the riots last summer. But neither the Conservative or the Labour MP was willing to challenge George on the racism of his party. Those three white politicians were patting themselves on the back as the solution to racism in the UK while refusing to even acknowledge the racism that was sat right there on that sofa. And the reason that George's party, the Reform Party, is set to be the next government is because our voting system allows a party to gain majority control even if only a minority vote for them. And if you don't like me saying that the Reform Party is going to be our next government, then do something about it. Spread the word about how the UK is not a democracy because most votes don't count to literally everybody that you meet. Encourage more people to vote for the Green Party and do everything you can to help Andy Burnham to replace Keir Starmer as leader of the Labour Party because Andy Burnham actually wants a fair voting system. And if Andy Burnham gives us a voting system where all votes count equally before the next election, then Nigel Farage will not be able to gain absolute power on a third of the votes. And ethnic minority people will be able to be less scared of being hunted in the streets. I'm Femi. Make sure you follow F Politics so politics doesn't F you. Have a great week.